Hey, today I'm going to talk to you about how hormones are highlighters. There will be times of the month that will feel really challenging for you to vision your deepest desires, to be able to confidently use your affirmations, to be able to show up to your personal development work. It will just feel hard. And there will be times of the month where it will feel really juicy and really exciting and like you're just on fire and there's just synchronicity and flow and everything's just happening easily for you. And this is a subject that came up in my Daring and Mighty Love mastermind group. So this is a small group of 5 women who are calling in their soulmate. And it's really sort of deep, powerful, transformational coaching. And we had a coaching call on Monday night this week. And this subject came up around visualization. Hi, Ruth. Hi, good to see you. Please say hello as you're joining. Let me know where you are. And welcome to today's Cuppa with Katie, by the way. Yeah, so this came up and we happened to start speaking about visions, and I was sharing my vision of my desired Whale Beach house in Sydney and how I've had the same vision for that for many years, actually, because the intention is to still go back to Australia. Always available for that to maybe change. Like our desires do shift and change. It is still my desire, and I've had the same visualization that I tap into around that desire for many years. And this week it changed. So the vision shifted a little bit and up leveled a little bit. And yeah, it was really exciting. And I was sharing that and we were talking about visioning. Hi, Emma. Hi, Kellyanne. Good to see you guys. And we're getting really excited about visioning. And the women in my group were, we were really dialing into their vision of their soulmate that they're calling in, and some were feeling really excited and some were feeling a little bit held back, and we noticed how connected that is to our hormones and where we're at in our cycle, and how that just affects us generally with our personal growth and personal development work. And so I thought I'd bring that conversation here today, because for me, really beginning to understand the feminine cycle and how that affects our moods has been an absolute total game changer, and how we can actually work with it and to our advantage. So, if you're desiring to live more consciously, if you're on a path to, consciously up leveling your life as on a consistent basis, learning to work with your hormones and have them work to your advantage through that process is totally, utterly game changing. It certainly was for me. So should we just dive into this? It's a little bit of a biology lesson as well. So I've got a couple of notes here. Biology was one of my absolutely favorite subjects at school, and I did really well in it. So this is like my kind of biology geek comes out here with this subject. But it's also, I find this really supportive. And actually, as I'm saying this, I'm realizing as well that there's something about working with the feminine cycle that's actually been ingrained into me since I was a very little girl. Like, I remember my mom would always say to me to be really gentle with yourself. And when I was experiencing PMS, premenstrual syndrome, so the week before my period would come, when I would get really kind of weepy and a little anxious and just felt really delicate, or I would get like out of control angry. So when I was a teenager, like really kind of out of control and angry, like more so the week before my period, she'd be like, when you can feel your emotions start to get out of control and it's kind of irrational, you have to remember it's just your hormones. And from the age of sort of 17 onwards, whenever I would start to get angry before my period or start crying for no reason and feel like I was out of control in some way, I knew it was a hormonal piece, and I could just be kind and gentle to myself. So I wouldn't have to try and understand it or explain it or feel guilty for it. It was just, okay, it's my hormones. And there's something about that awareness and that acknowledgement that would just kind of take the edge off and have me feel better. So I still felt rubbish in the week leading up to my period. Um, but because I understood it, I felt more in charge of my emotions rather than feeling so out of control. Because our hormones can, I mean, we've all got totally different experiences, right? I know for me, sometimes my hormones can make me feel out of control, like they have taken on a life of their own. And it's like, where's Katie gone? This horrible monster has taken over her life. There's something about just the awareness and the acknowledgement of what's going on that is very shifting in our energy. So let's just take a quick look at the feminine cycle. So we're going to start with, and you might want to make a few notes here because this is really powerful. And once we've talked this through today and you've made your notes, I'm going to invite you to put this information onto your calendar, because you can start to plan your life, you can start to plan your work, you can start to plan your dating, you can start to plan everything around this information so that you're working with your feminine cycle and not against it. Yeah, thanks, Kellyanne. It does make sense, right? Okay, so we're working with a standard menstrual cycle. I know, like, I'm in my late 40s now, so this isn't always exactly perfect. And depending on where you're at, your cycle is going to be perhaps a little bit different to this, but we're going to work with a 28-day cycle. And we're going to start that from day 1 to 7, we're going to call that menstruating. So that's when you've got your period. So typically in that day 1 to 7, typically you'll be feeling tired, weepy, a few tears, achy, sensitive, maybe a little worried, right? So I woke up today with my period, and it was really interesting to notice that I did feel a little bit worried and a little bit sensitive, definitely aching, right? So straight up day 1, there it is. So I know immediately, and I was expecting this. So this is a week to be kind and gentle with myself, to not expect too much of myself. So yeah, so day 1 to 7 of your cycle, time to be gentle with yourself. It's time to be reflective, right? So it's a very reflective experience, these first 7 days of your cycle. There's not a lot of action happening. You don't naturally want to like leap into new projects. You're feeling reflective. And because you're feeling reflective, it's the perfect time. I've just realized I've been dunking my hair in my cuppa with Katie tea. Getting my hair cut tomorrow. I'm so excited. Been growing like a weed these last few months. So we're naturally in day 1 to 7 feeling reflective. So let's work with that. So it's a really perfect opportunity to look back on the last month. What's worked for you? What hasn't worked for you? Maybe what do you desire for the month ahead? What might you like to shift and change? It's a really perfect time to go into self-reflection. And it's the perfect time to honor your body with tenderness and kindness and lots of gentleness. Yeah. So day 1 to 7, a reflective time, an assessment time. Yeah. Then we've got day 8 to 13, which is called the follicular phase. Now, what does that mean? That basically means the estrogen is rising in your body and your eggs are getting all prepared to go into the release phase again. So that's what's happening in your body. It's called follicular phase. So day 8 to 13, you're going to start feeling typically more confident, more joyful, more uplifted, and more inspired. So this is a time to start making plans. So the week before, you were a bit more reflective, you're in like an assessment mode, you're checking things out, you're looking at the month behind, wondering what's coming up for the month ahead. And so now you're in a space to actually start to make a few plans based on those reflections. You can set intentions and you can begin projects. Yeah, so you're not going to be beginning projects, making plans, setting intentions while you're menstruating, because you're not up for that. Your energy isn't there, but it will be in week 2 of your cycle. So you start to plan around this. You can put this on your calendar and work with it. Then we move into the ovulatory phase, which is days 14 and 15, around this. So for a couple of days of the month, you're ovulating. This is when the egg releases into the fallopian tube. I love my biology geek coming out. This is when you're fertile, okay? Now, even... So this is for the women that haven't hit menopause yet, essentially, right? And even in perimenopause, I mean, do I get fertile now? I'm not sure I do. Now I'm in perimenopause. I think that time has passed for me. And yet I still know that there's a couple days a month that are my fertile days, that even though I probably couldn't actually get pregnant, I feel the fertility. Yeah, I absolutely still feel it. So this is when typically on these couple days a month, you're going to be feeling sexy, open, attractive, powerful, and verbally confident. Yeah, so these are the days, I call these your power days. 2 days a month that you're going to book in that really important meeting or conversation. You're going to go and speak on stage. Like if you have a choice to present on somebody else's platform or webinar or there's a speaking gig, like if you can get it around these days, that's amazing. This is when you're going to want to go on dates, right? Like there's this time of the month that this is the perfect time to book in all of your dates if you're a single girl. It's a time to sell. It's a time to promote. It's a time to really basically put yourself out there. Yeah, it's to get really visible. You are really vibing high for this time of the month. And then from days 15 to 21, you're moving into something called the luteal phase, which is essentially when the unfertilized egg dissolves. Or if it's fertilized, it embeds. Okay. So days 15 to 21, you're going to typically be feeling intuitive and impulsive. Intuitive and impulsive. So this is a time to receive. Yeah, it's about receiving abundance. So this is a time to receive rewards, receive the results of your labor, to kind of sit back. So you're not so much in action, and it's not like the menstrual phase where you're reflective. Remember, receiving is a very active state. So you're available to receive at this time. You're not so out there doing, being visible, making things happen, putting plans in place, starting projects. This is more, okay, let's receive. It's a bit like autumn. Yeah. So you could probably relate the feminine cycle to the seasons. This is why the feminine is so freaking powerful, because we are cyclical, just like the seasons. When we work with it, we are empowered. So receiving, yeah, this is a good time to do bookkeeping. It's a great time to get really connected with your money and where is it at. Like I'm a big fan of money tracking, and I'm big time on it at the moment. It's now my daily practice. I check in with money coming and going, with a particular focus on money coming in, because what we focus on, we attract more of. So this phase, if you're only checking in with your money once a month, this is the week, days 15 to 21, to do it, because energetically you are more available to receive. Your body is more available to receive. It's not a time to impulse shop. Okay, you're going to make really silly, rash decisions. You're going to take silly chances. It's not a time to choose what to invest in. It's not a time to, it's just anything where you're going to be a little impulsive. These are the days where you kind of avoid that and you relax into receiving mode. Days 21 to 28, this is your premenstrual phase. So this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the call. This is the week before you're due to get your period. So this is when the uterus lining begins to break down and it's preparing to exit the body. So during this premenstrual phase, days 21 to 28, you're going to typically be feeling anxious, sensitive, and intuitive. And it's really interesting for me to reflect. So this was me last week, and my intuition was blowing my brains last week. It's been absolutely amazing. The synchronicities, the flow, just just miraculous and wonderful, actually. So it's really interesting to, once you know this, to keep track of your cycle and to notice how you're feeling and what's going on and what you're attracting in or what you're repelling. Because if you're repelling, you're probably not working with your cycle. You're not working with your own natural energy. So in the premenstrual phase, if you're feeling anxious, sensitive, and intuitive, this is when, and this is why I love this idea that hormones are highlighters, because this is particularly the time of the month where your hormones absolutely highlight what isn't working for you in your life. Yeah, so it's not creating new problems, but at this time you'll be feeling so sensitive that if there's areas of your life that are causing you pain or that you've been kind of ignoring or pushing down, blocking, I don't want to look at that, it's going to get your attention in this week because you're going to be super sensitive to it. So this is a time to be super compassionate with yourself. This is a time where self-care and gentleness is absolutely key. Everything in your life that feels hard or challenging or frustrating is all going to be highlighted for this week. And it's really important to know this in advance. So days 21 to 28, the week before your typical periods, please be really kind to yourself. It's probably not a time to do any planning. It's probably, and this is what I was speaking about with my group, it's probably not a time to even, you're probably not even going to find visioning your desired life very easy. You know, tapping into your desires might feel really quite difficult because at this time of the month, you're so attuned to what is feeling difficult and what's causing you sensitivities that dialing into your heart's deepest desires isn't going to feel very easy. So the time of the month to probably do that is going to be like days 8 to 13 when you're more uplifted and inspired. That's the week after your period. So can you see how there's this flow and we can work with it? There'll be times of the month for visioning. There'll be times of the month for and manifesting. There'll be times for connecting with your desires. There'll be times for just relaxing and surrendering and allowing yourself to receive them. There'll be times when you're way more intuitive and connected to the magic of life and you'll just see things flowing and just coming in and the synchronicities, and it'll be amazing. But we're not going to be, and it's unrealistic to expect yourself to be high vibe, synchronistic, intuitive, on it, so excited for what's next for you, like really excited to dive deep into your healing work, your personal growth work. There's times of the month that none of that are going to feel good. But you've got to remember that even when you're not feeling like that and doing all of that crazy, sort of wonderfully exciting, juicy stuff, when you're in a more gentle, reflective mode, you are still creating your life. Yeah, you're still in that, you're still manifesting. It might not feel like you're doing anything, but remember, when we're surrendered, when we're being, that puts us in a receiving energy. So it all counts. It's like this sort of giving and receiving constant flow. We're doing it through our cycle. Sometimes we're out in the world and giving and being visible, and sometimes that's the giving piece, and then sometimes we're receiving and we're back at home, taking it easy, being reflective. And we need both. The flow is there and happening all the time. We're just being invited to work with it. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's landed for those of you who are here live. And if you're watching the replay, please just type in #replay and let me know how this has landed for you. Let me know if you've had any aha moments. And then remember, there's ways that you can support yourself holistically through these times of the month. I've just done I'm not going to go into that now, but I've just come off a really fantastic masterclass in my Evolution membership. So this month, our theme is self-care. And something I love to speak about, and something that I apply in my own life, is this idea that self-care is way more than just doing nice things for yourself, like having a nice bath and lighting candles and eating good food. Like, it's more than that. It's about being really proactive and really taking responsibility for you and your life and your health and so on. So we just had a friend of mine, her name's Caroline Kane, and she's an essential oils expert. And she just hosted a 90-minute workshop this morning in Evolution membership about the science of essential oils and how we can use them from, cleaning our home. But what we were really focused on today was supporting ourselves emotionally and supporting ourselves through our personal growth and transformation and supporting ourselves through our hormonal cycles. So, essential oils are one way to support yourself through the various phases of your cycle. There'll be the phases of your cycle when you're really inspired and excited and uplifted. There's essential oils that like really bring that up even more. And there's times in your cycle that, you want to hide away from the world. You're feeling anxious, you're feeling worried, you're feeling teary. And there's certain essential oils that can really feel like a great big warm hug, or just lift you up and out so you can move through your day with a little more grace. Yeah, so there's different things we can do. And that happens to be one of them. And that's front of mind for me right now because we've just done this amazing masterclass. Emma's saying, yeah, that really makes sense. I'm going to look into my calendar and work some stuff out. Yeah, Kellyanne's saying it makes sense. Yeah, it's really important. So in my calendar, for where I'm at in my life stage and what feels important for me is I'm very aware. I've got on my calendar the week before my period. So when I've got my period, I they say typically tired, weepy, aching, sensitive, and worried. I get a little bit of that. It's more cramps and so on for me that week. A little bit of weepiness. Not so much these days though. I kind of move through that week quite easily. I just have cramps. So I'm probably not going to be doing like loads of exercise that week. And I'm definitely taking it easy and having my salty baths and so on. It's the week before that, so the premenstrual phase, that I have to have that on my calendar. I have to know. It actually says on my calendar, be kind and gentle with yourself this week. And my husband, James, he has it on his calendar too, because that week before my period, there's a couple of days of that week that can be really hard for me. It's like walking through treacle, everything feels terrible. And I have to be so gentle with myself, so kind to myself. I don't expect anything. I'll even let like my VA know, like I can't show up on those couple days. Like no one needs me around on those couple days. I just need to really be there for me. And just knowing that empowers me. It really does empower me, and it makes it feel a hell of a lot easier. If I ignored that truth that this is just how it is for me hormonally that week, it makes it worse if I ignore it and try and push through it. I have to honor it. So that is on my calendar. And I also know where my power days are. So best I can, I'll plan in speaking gigs and that kind of thing on my power days. There's a good week there when I'm really on fire, feeling really, really good. So I plan around that. Yeah. Emma's saying I have very little patience that week. Yeah, exactly. So, and I let the kids know as well. Yeah. So when it's the week before, if we have the kids around, we've got stuff going on, I'll let them know, bear with me this week, guys. And we've got to a place where I can even joke about it. They'll behave in a really annoying way. And I'm like, guys, not the time for me to have any level of patience with that behavior. Do you remember? And they're all like, yeah, okay. So communicate with your family. Let them know what's going on for you. This doesn't have to be your own private little hell. The more we communicate, the more we're empowered and everyone's on the same page. And at home, you're loved and supported. You don't have to do it on your own. If you've got a team of staff and it's appropriate, let them know. Yeah, like where possible, where it feels safe, where it feels good, let the people closest to you know what's going on for you. So in advance, you're feeling supported and taken care of. Anywho, I hope that's helpful. Loving you lots. If you're not in Evolution membership, the first month is free. So if you wanted to catch today's masterclass, you can get the recording all around essential oils. We have amazing experts coming in every month. There is a library of incredible content from world-class coaches that dates back now to January 2020. We've got so much content in there. It's an amazing library of information. You can come and really enjoy it for the first month for free. And if the membership just isn't for you, then you can leave. No questions asked, no grudges held. Just come and enjoy it. I host 2 coaching calls every month, which is pretty unique in a membership. You'll get so much value from those. You can come, ask your questions, get coached, feel the support of the community of the women. Like, it's just the most loving, beautiful space. Come check it out. I'll put the link in underneath here as well. And Kellyanne saying, totally agree. We need to openly talk about this more and understand each other better. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think, knowledge is power, and communication is key, isn't it? So if we can just help each other with that, then we can all feel a little more empowered. Emma's saying, yeah, their masterclasses are incredible because you're in the membership. Yay. Yes, they are. They're really good, aren't they? All right, darlings, loving you loads. Have a beautiful rest of your week. And I'll see you for another Cuppa with Katie next Wednesday. All right. See you later.